Thanks for logging on, gentlemen. I had an idea. Given we are at our 10th session of D&D, I thought we should do a tier list.
Oh, great idea. What do you want to do it on?
Well, I was thinking we should start with the basics, and if the fans like it, we look at some more different episodes. Today we will look at the 14 classes, but as per all our content, it will be focused on the 2014 5th edition.
My fans love everything I am in, and if the election is anything of an indication, I have a lot of fans all around the world.
Wow, guys, we get to sort all the classes. Sounds great.
Okay, perfect. Glad to have you all here. This website has the classes all in alphabetical order, so I guess we follow that along. Artificer up first.
This is rigged, Obama. You have the mouse. You can choose what you like.
I will listen to the people. I am a Democrat after all.
Sure you will. Just like you did in 2020.
All right, enough yapping, Obama. What are you thinking for the first choice? I don't know much about Artificers beyond Saxy and the AI guy show. What are you, kind of an Iron Man guy in a suit?
Not exactly artificers and more broadly magical builders and enchanters. They're like the engineers of magic. Smart, resourceful, always tinkering.
You're making them sound more like nerds, Obama. They are more like Iron Man, as you said, Bush. You said Saxy, they're not just tinkerers, okay? No, they're winners. They take magic and make it great. They innovate, they dominate.
Okay, sounds fun, but how does it rank?
Well, we need to decide the ground rules. Are we talking min-max strongest classes?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
No way D&D isn't a game about doing damage. It's all about having a fun time. Our list needs to be classes that are the most fun to play.
How's that even a metric, Joey? They are all fun in their own unique way.
Even Ranger?
Well, I'm sure there's maybe a few people out there who like it. Play it like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings.
Hey. Yeah, dreamy.
Anyway, we need to grade by utility. It's the only thing that makes sense. As Biden said, this game isn't about maximum damage on the battlefield as much as it is navigating tricky situations.
So what, this is taking too long, someone pick?
Combat effectiveness definitely is one, can't ignore it, but so has to be utility and versatility because time outside combat needs to be effective too. For players like Bush who are easing into TTRPGs, is that a factor or are we talking only from the perspective of vets?
That sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah.
What about scaling? Are we looking at a level 1, 9, 20 class or more like the usual 3 to 5 or a campaign endpoints usually around 14?
I'm with Bush, too much thinking.
Yes, sorry I was on a roll, but speaking of which, our subscribers messaged a poll out to have everyone comment their favorite classes. Should that be a factor?
Look, I always listen to the will of the people.
Which people?
And so while I think the class poll and the comments we've had should be a factor, we also can't consider popularity alone. In this case.
Well, that gets us no further, Donald. Thank you.
You are both going in circles. We know we're going to end up bickering over them all already. You both already did for Artificer. That's what got us here.
He's right.
You guys darn right I am. So where does Artificer belong?
S tier for sure. This is an easy one. Everything I said before is true. They can make whatever they want out of magic and cast spells.
There is no way you think Artificers are one of the top tier classes.
I do think that's a stretch. I've never heard you talk about them before, Donald. Not many people play them. I think they go lower.
Same, I think honestly high B, low A.
Elon plays that class and he's the smartest man on the planet after my bigly intelligence.
Saxy as a badass being like Iron Man is pretty neat.
Fine, we settle on A.
No way, make a mess.
No, we all agree he's in A. It's settled.
Elon, when you watch this, no, I tried to make them see the truth.
Move on Obama before he starts crying.
Oh, no, that would ruin his makeup.
You fellas sure are spicy tonight, but as you say, we have Barbarian up next and plenty more to get through. Bush, how are you finding Taurus?
Well, I love playing him for sure.
But does that make him good, though?
What do you mean? If I picked him, he's got something to him.
Yes, no one is saying Barbarians aren't a fun class to play.
Or that they aren't powerful in combat, because they really are.
I know that. Taurus is great in combat. I demolish y'all.
Yeah, this is true, but barbarians have no long game.
What do you mean?
Well, like all martials, Barbarians drop off over time against the utility and damage of big spells.
So where are you thinking of putting it then?
See, for sure, no need to mess about.
What? D, no way. Y'all are just scheming against me because I am crushing the inspiration race in the comments of session 9.
No way. Barbarians are mid at best.
You take that back.
You will need to consider multiclassing to stay relevant, George. When you consider multiclassing, Barbarians can get as good as it, I reckon.
Whoa, not D, no way. Okay, fine. Isham. Well, you said barbs are good at early games, so let's wait a few more levels before we decide.
I agree on C.
Me too.
Well, I don't, but what more can I say?
Barbarians do have a great roleplay ability. If one-dimensional, the big doof quick to anger.
I'm not like that.
Okay, buddy, but seriously, moving forward, that's Bard, right? Can't say no too much about them.
The Bard, for me, is hands down one of the most versatile classes in the game. You got Bardic Inspiration, you got a killer spell list, and you're the face of the party. You're basically the Swiss Army knife of D&D.
Swiss Army knife? Come on, Barack. The Bard's, what do you call it? Good at everything, great at nothing. Only played by show-offs and Broadway wannabes. Main character syndrome.
Joe, that's a little harsh. Sure, they're not going to out-damage a fighter or wizard, but they bring so much more to the table. You need healing? The Bard's got it. You need someone to talk the dragon out of roasting the party? That's Bard territory, my friend.
Excuse me. Talk the dragon out of roasting the party. Terrible strategy, weak. If you're not out there winning the fight, what are you even playing? Wizards, sorcerers, they deal damage. They're the real MVPs.
Bards.
Sad loser boys.
I don't what's gotten into y'all. I reckon Bard looks fun to play. Can be so many styles of gameplay. I reckon they are A.
Looks like well made to settle for a B rank for now. See what the comments say? I reckon Don and Joey are getting roasted.
Yeah, okay, B tier. But they're lucky we're being generous.
Generous? No way. They're barely hanging on to B tier if you ask me.
Hey, what's this next one? I don't think I've seen it before.
Oh, that the Blood Hunter, right. Made by Matt Mercer. I think I remember seeing something about it when I was doing my studies for the campaign.
Homebrew? Seriously, Obama?
It's in several WOTC released books. Makes it canon to me.
And what's it called again? Vampire Hunter?
No, Blood Hunter, think more The Witcher if you've played those games.
No, but I like the show. He's so cool. The main guy, what's his name?
The Witcher?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, no one really seems to know much about them besides me. Well, to be honest, I think they are too situational. A good attempt at filling a gap in the class list for something more potion kind of base, but I think they lack in combat ability. Not tank enough to tank, not damage dealing enough to be DPS. I think they make up for this in their out of combat play. They have a fair bit of utility.
So what are you saying? B tier like Rogue?
No chance. I think they have to be D tier to be honest. Comments correct me on this on. I'm not confident in it. Anyway, on to Cleric. This one should also be pretty easy. Let's be real, folks. Clerics are S tier for a reason. They've got everything: healing, buffs, tankiness, damage, and utility. Need to save the party? Mass cure wounds. Want to wreck a boss? Spiritual weapon and guiding bolt combo. They can even outlast fighters with heavy armor and shields. They're unstoppable.
I've used Spirit Guardians to clutch more fights than I can remember. Half movement and damage is so dangerous.
I've played a cleric before and I hated it each time. It's always heal me, fix me, save the day. You're like a walking med kit. Sure, they're powerful, but where's the fun in being everyone's band-aid? Sometimes you want to smash something, not just patch it up.
Now hold up, damage is the most fun, but clerics constantly rain damage while keeping the team alive. Plus, some of their domains Tempest War turn them into frontline powerhouses. You're blasting call lightning while wearing plate armor. That's cool, I don't care what none of y'all say.
Exactly, George. They're versatile, durable, and clutch. Healing, sure, but they've got divine damage to spare. S tier, no debate.
I'll believe you mean that when you play one in a campaign.
Druid's up next. Donnie, what do you think?
I think you tried to dodge a savage burn by Joey by flicking to me. Well, it worked cause I have a piece to say about druids. I know they can be so OP, Circle of the Moon, etc. But honestly, I find them very fragile, especially early game when they don't get many wild shapes.
I kind of agree their spells overlap, but with cleric or wizards kind of not feeling as good as either.
I wasn't done. Wild shape early game is too limited, then late game it is either OP or useless. Summoning creatures onto a busy battlefield should be illegal. I've never DM'd, but I can already see it's straight bull.
Wow, Donald, you're fired up.
If you think this is fired up, you should have come to one of my rallies. I will say one saving grace is that they appeal to girls with a cute animal girl vibe, bringing them to the table.
You can't mean that.
But even that in itself is a weakness of Druid because nature affects a theme to nature. What about when you are inside, like in a dungeon, in Dungeons and Dragons? Who needs nature?
So this is just a tirade against the environment again, and those who seek to protect it.
I like the environment. It's where geologists go out and find oil and gas.
Hey, there's Donnie.
I can tell Donnie hasn't looked into wildfire druids.
No, can't say I have.
Clearly, it's the Pokemon Masterclass.
In D&D?
You know what? You get a little pet, not exactly playing Pokemon.
I considered playing it before the campaign. Jeff and I worked on how to allow me to utilize more than creature. I reckon with Donnie's Nintendo obsession, he'd love it too.
I'm Googling now, so you get this little pet you can make attack and do things?
Jeff and I workshopped a little bit where some of the spells can only be cast through the Squirtle,
Squirtle, fun choice.
We're sidetracked what ranking it was sounding like a D, but we've had two strong positives.
I don't think they are enough after we let Donnie have the mic.
You are privileged to be able to hear me speak, gentlemen, but don't think for a second D in the tier list isn't short for Druid. It's not going a place higher.
Fine, but let's do a one-shot one time. Obama. That's our next marshal ready to drop it down.
Well, I think Fighter is the exception to the rule. They vary a lot between the range of subclasses from Battlemaster to Samurai, and even Eldritch Knights are fun.
Don't forget they can be played either strength or dexterity like Bixby.
I do like their simplicity and their consistency. Straightforward, and with late levels, you really get to be a blade tornado. High AC, lots of ASIs or feats which allows a well-rounded character or an absolute hone knife.
You sure know a lot about fighters for someone who's never played D&D, only one character, right?
I know I was either picking barbarian or fighter, so those are the only two I studied, really.
I will counter only to say they, as a martial class, lack the real edge to get into the top tier. Fighters are really dependent on magical items if they want to stay competitive after level 15 or so.
So what?
Sound like a tier right.
Bit high, I think.
No, I agree with George. It feels right.
Who am I to disagree as Bixby?
Is this Monk?
Yeah, what do we think?
They are fast and very dexterous, step of the wind, and then later levels wall running. They can move around and help over combat as you need it.
They do get cool abilities like deflect missiles and evasion, both of which are handy before you can close on spellcaster.
Monks suck.
What, more hate?
They are squishy marshals. That doesn't even really make sense.
Kinda has a point. They don't get the damage output barbarians do and don't really get much utility to make up for it.
They have stunning strike. That's really handy.
That's fake news from the Monkstream media. Stunning strike is barely useful. Most marshals will be able to avoid most of them and you expend ki on nothing. Lots of beast creatures and boss bosses are immune to stunning or have advantage on the saves. I just don't really see them useful.
Okay, imagine you are trapped in a dungeon that was an old anti-magic mine.
Anti-magic is a thing?
Oh, my sweet boy, if this wasn't a tangent away from me putting Monk in C tier, I'd tell you all about it.
C is generous.
That's harsh.
Joey loves to defend the D tier classes.
Oh, that must be Paladin, right, Obama? I've heard they are fun, a balance between martial and magic.
I thought you might play a Paladin this campaign, George. I agree Taurus is the right fit, but you would have done great with something with a little magic, a huge divine smite on a crit doing untold damage.
You just want me to be able to buff and heal you.
Hey, that's true. But also they can do that, which is pretty neat.
I mostly like the thematics of a paladin, the righteous hand of a god, devotee to an oath, a cause.
Reminds me of you and Yemen Barak.
Hey, paladins are best known for their aura. Obama, that is like you.
I like how they still have the feel of being tanky without being stuck being completely martial. You get a bit of support, as Donnie said.
This does mean they suffer from Master of None syndrome like a bard.
Your presidency had a bit of that, Joey.
Funny you mentioned Bard, Joey. I was thinking we match it at B tier. What do you think?
To me, that feels like you are sleeping on the ability to heal and smite. I say A tier.
I have to say I see them more as B grade. Stick with it, Obama.
Okay, well, up next we have Ranger.
Easy D tier and move on.
Agreed. Joey, don't you go all soft on them and make an argument for C.
More like a...
No, I agree with you.
They have tried and tried in 5e to make Ranger a better class, but nothing has really been better than a token effort.
The bones of the class are just rotten. They do nothing other classes can't do better.
Aragon roleplay.
Okay, that's the exception.
Even a multi-class would be better.
Rogue is a harder call to make. As another squishy martial, I want to push them down the list, but they have bard-like utility.
I don't know how it works, but I hear they are the DPS while also having non-combat utility. They do suffer from monk-like weakness, though. No constitution, so HP.
But they are the masters of skills, just like a bard, but leaning more to the subtle arts. Stealth, lockpicking, trap disarming. No one does it better.
Spells literally do all those things better, but they do also get the most useful bonus action, a whole dash action or going stealth so strong.
Not to mention there is a great range of rogues, too, allowing customizing for the player.
If we are excluding multiclassic, they are a class that really depends on other classes to be effective. A martial to draw the attention for sneak attack, for example.
I mean, D&D is a social game. If you aren't playing with other players, all classes are going to be very difficult to play, if not impossible.
Nothing is impossible with the right DM.
Ain't that the truth? I really love that about D&D and the game we have with Jeff. He's such an easy DM to coordinate with.
We are getting off topic again, so we agree they are pretty decent all-rounders, but lack the specialization required to hit the higher tiers. Just too much to let it get into A tier, so it sits with Bard and Paladin in B. If I'm being honest, I thought this would be a far more popular tier. Glad we have had some disagreements that have pushed the classes around.
That said, 3 classes left. That must be Sorcerer. Isn't that your class, Donnie?
Yeah, sure is. Sorcerer is great for so many reasons. It's like Wizard, but you get meta magic, which can add some real flavor to the battlefield.
In most campaigns I've seen, Sorcerers tend to be the biggest damage dealers of the party, usually quite squishy characters, but high output.
I like that. Donovan's already starting to show that.
Donovan has yet to even show you his full potential.
I think they are too complicated. Lots of spells, spell slots, sorcery points, metamagics, it's all too much.
Smooth brain thinking.
Maybe, but at least with a wizard you get a straightforward spell list and define spell slots nice and easy.
I guess so.
It is still A tier.
Surprised you didn't say S tier?
The art of the deal, I don't have time to explain it, just read my book.
Anyone disagree to A tier from Donnie? No? Okay, you can move it up Obama and on to Warlock. I've heard good things, another well-rounded kind of class. Pack boons and the invocations are a definitely draw card.
I like how unique warlocks feel.
I agree. With so many casters, it could be easy to lose a class like Warlock, but this one is many people's favorites.
High damage combos, ability to cast a front line, and the biggest boon of all, direct connection with a divinity. What's the downside?
I like how their spells are all upcast to the max. Keeps things simple enough, huh? No need to balance spell slots. One number, give it to me as strong as it comes.
They have a good balance between combat and out-of-initiative utility, too. I'll give you that.
You are both missing what I said. Warlocks are like clerics and paladins in the way they are drawing their power directly from a god with a blessing, but none of the gross morals or rules. Just free reign to do whatever you want.
That's not exactly how it works.
Yeah, surely it's not that simple.
What did I get wrong? Oh, you do have a code from the divinity you have to follow. We both know that has more loopholes in it than the tax codes. I just pick a god that follows the ethics of the character I want to play. That's the beauty of Warlock. There is no pretense of good and evil.
Someone is sipping hard. What about them not being thick enough to stand up long on the front lines unless you build directly for that?
They have very limited magic, limited spells, limited spell slots.
How many different spells do you actually use regularly? I've seen you play. It's been all magic missiles so far. How's he spell depth treating you? I counter with Eldritch Blast, by far the best cantrip in the game if you get the right invocations.
They are dependent on that Eldritch Blast, though.
I mean, I am dependent on my axe, and I can't do half what it sounds like spellcasters can, even if they have less spells or whatever.
Short rest and back in the game, it's a lot of fun.
Your perfect class really fine and useful as long as you've had an hour rest first.
You were winning me over. I was thinking C.
Anything below a is a disgrace.
I could get around a B. Sounds like a bard or rogue kind of class. class anyway.
Well, not exactly, but I am happy to settle on B. Trump, is that a happy medium?
It's a medium, let's not call it a happy one, especially as I know what is coming.
What's that?
Wizard Joey, Aristus class.
Yeah, so what? I can be impartial.
We know this ends in AS grade. Why don't you go through the list as to why you chose that?
He's calling it rigged.
I see that, thank you. And thank you, Donald. I will be first to discuss my thoughts on the positives of wizards. Spellcasting mastery, wizards are the ultimate spellcasters with the most diverse and expansive spell list in the game. They have access to powerful utility, control, and damage-dealing spells with the ability to prepare different spells each day. High versatility, the sheer range of spells available to wizards allows them to be adaptable in almost any situation, whether they need to lock down enemies with hold person, buff allies with haste, or deal devastating damage with meteor swarm.
Hold on, did you write this down?
I might have made a few notes.
Notes? This sounds like you are pulling directly from a Reddit thread?
I might have borrowed a few elements from the research I did. Isn't that the point in research, though?
Who does research before talking about D&D?
I was enjoying it, Obama. I say continue.
No chance you read the headers only, then we move on to the discussion.
Okay, fine. Well, wizards also have a robust set of subclasses like evocation for damage like Aristos or divination for controlling fate, each providing thematic and mechanical variety and at higher levels. Wizards can cast game-changing spells that can shape the course of battles or even entire campaigns, such as Wish and Time Stop.
Wizards are weak, squishy boys and girls.
Sure are, and are useless without magic, so can get scared when they are low and can't regenerate until a long rest. Well, not really. Such nerds, I tell you, nothing good comes from that much reading and indoctrination in their schools.
We get nothing but the finest education, thank you.
Just do it.
What?
I agree with Bush. Stop lying to us. Just put it in S tier like it deserves.
You saying it deserves it now?
I still think it's a class of nerds for nerds, but it can do a lot of things, and collecting spells like Pokemon is appealing.
Okay, well, that's all the classes sorted. I'm sure the comments will tell us where we went wrong, and I look forward to it.
I can tell you right now.
Don't say it here, save it for the comments.
If you like D&D tier lists and want to see anything in particular, please also comment me some bigly compliment and then maybe a little detail about your idea.
Not enough shilling Donald.
Never enough, Barack. The people need to let me know they love me. They deserve that chance.
Okay, I'm done here.
Me too. I'm so sleepy. I have a big day at beach tomorrow.
Donald, no?
I was just going to say thanks to the fans. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to see more of me and the boys play D&D, Wii games, Minecraft, and plenty more. And if you also thought this was the most bigly tier list, make sure to tell us below what other lists you'd like.